Good morning, everybody. I welcome you to today's 8 a.m. Mentorship Academy program. And as we are joining, please just type in the comments where you're joining us from. Type the town and the country you're joining us from. Before we get started, today's topic is very exciting. I'm Memory Banda Simwaba. I'm a financial literacy educator, an award-winning financial literacy educator. But before we get started with today's topic, I just want to do some housekeeping issues. So you have to be joining us from Monday to Friday. We have this 8 a.m. mentorship program. So on Monday, we get to have Rev Water with Prosperity Insights. So join us on Mondays at 8 a.m. Then on Tuesdays, we have Dr. Sylvia Sunshine with the Mindset Change program. So you need to be joining us for that on Tuesdays. Then Wednesday is our market day. And Thursdays, like today, we have Prosperity for Your Soul, which is covered by our master mentor, Dr. Nellie Kangwa. And I'm taking this slot today just to share some personal finance mistakes that we normally make as human beings that we should avoid. Then Fridays, we get to have health lifestyle. So please do join us Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. We get live. So today's topic is basically for me to share some nuggets on some of the mistakes that we make with regards to personal finance. I'm excited, and please show me in the comments that you're excited about today. Give me some red hearts if you're excited about the topic that I'm going to be sharing today. There are so many financial mistakes that we make in the quest to attain financial freedom, because when we're talking about prosperity is multifaceted. You can be talking about it the spiritual way. When you're talking about spirituality, when you're talking about career mastery, when we're talking about financial mastery as well, which we are focusing on today. So you need to look at it holistically. So some of the mistakes that we make, number one, and as I'm going to be saying these mistakes, please, you need to type them in the chat so that you remember them and not forget them. The first mistake that we make in our quest to attain financial freedom as human beings is shunning financial literacy. So now you need to be aware that financial literacy education is the bedrock for financial intelligence. Yeah? So financial literacy is the bedrock to financial intelligence, and financial intelligence is a catalyst to financial freedom. It's a catalyst or a pathway to financial freedom. So if you attend financial literacy education and you become financially literate, you tend to understand the principles that lead you to that financial freedom that you aspire to actually achieve. So you need to be very intentional. You need to be very deliberate in acquiring as much knowledge as you can when it comes to money management, prudent management of your resources. You need to understand basic terms like savings, investing, debt. You need to understand those terms. And apart from just understanding, you need to know what options do you have available. If you want to save money, you are in Zambia, you are in South Africa, you are in Namibia, you are in Zimbabwe, wherever you're joining from, you should be aware of your environment, understand the available options that you have, regardless of where you are. So if you understand or get financially literate, it will really prevent you from losing money unnecessarily to Ponzi schemes, because the whole reason why a lot of people fall prey to these Ponzi schemes or get rich schemes is because they lack the basic understandings of the right available options for them at their disposal, for them to exploit and ensure that they are putting their money where it's at least safe, even if we have to accept the risk. Taking risks does not mean that we need to be careless and just put money in anything that comes at us, even if we don't understand it. So it is very important that we ensure that we get financially literate, and we are very intentional and deliberate about financial literacy education. That's number one. So number one mistake is shunning financial literacy education. My mentor says, if you are not informed, you'll be deformed. If you're not inspired, you expire. If you're not updated, you become outdated. Information is the new currency, and those who have the information rule over those who do not have the information. So financial literacy education will enable you or will determine how far you can go with regards to your financial freedom journey based on what you know. So what you know will determine what you can do and how far you can go. The second financial mistake is not having a financial plan or not having financial goals. So already by not planning or having a financial plan, you're already planning to fail. And it is very important for anything that you intend to achieve in this life, you should have a plan, a written down plan. And that plan should clearly define what your end result or your end goal is. What is your vision? If you're talking about financial freedom, what does financial freedom mean to you? Attach a number, yeah? So you should have a plan that shows you your desired financial position. Does freedom mean traveling the world for you? For me, it does. I want to get to a point where I can do anything I want, with whom I want, at whatever time I want, without having any financial limitations. I want to travel the world with my family. That's my dream. And because of that, every time it keeps me awake to ensure that I'm doing the necessary things that I need to do with my money for me to have that financial future that I envisage or I desire. So you should know your desired financial position, which should be your vision, which should be your end goal. Then you need to know your current financial position. Where are you? So usually, if you want to assess what financial freedom would look like, there is a benchmark. You can just look at your monthly expenses, multiply by 12 for you to know that this is my annual expenses roughly. So if on a monthly basis, for example, you spend 10,000 kwacha, yeah, 10,000 kwacha, it can be $1,000, it can be whatever in your whatever currency, depending on where you are. You know how much you spend on a monthly basis. If you multiply that month, your monthly expense by 12, then multiply by 15, that should give you a guide on how much you should have in your investment portfolio for you to attain at least the barest minimum financial freedom number. I hope that is clear. So multiply your monthly expenses by, so if you spend 1,000 or you spend 5,000 or 10,000, multiplied by 12, it becomes 120, your annual expenditure or expenses. Then multiply by 15. Whatever you're going to get, that should be your target for your investment portfolio. Yeah, so that should be how much you should have in your investment portfolio. And when you're talking about having that in your investment portfolio, we are talking about a portfolio that holds income generating assets, a portfolio that produces income on a monthly basis. So that's what you should be working towards. So when you get that, that becomes your desired financial position for the future. So you have to bring it back now. Where are you? What is your current financial position? Then you determine the difference. So if right now in your investment portfolio for income generating assets, if you just have, for example, you have 20,000, meanwhile, the desired position is having 1,000,000, yeah? So you already know that you have a gap, a wealth gap or financial freedom gap of 980,000. So it's now, your plan now should be what strategies and how long will it take you now for you to close that gap? And you need to start now building and working towards achieving or closing that gap. Yeah. So a financial plan is basically a point of reference. A financial plan will guide you and tell you that you need to build an emergency fund. A financial plan will also open you up to strategies, workable strategies on what you need to start doing with your finances. Either looking at other side hustles that you can jump on for you to earn more money so that it goes towards closing that wealth gap that we've just defined, yeah, or reducing your expenses. So a plan is going to be your guide, and having a plan in place, it becomes a point of reference. From time to time, you need to be reviewing the progress that you're making towards that plan, and make necessary adjustments. So the truth is, you are never going to have passive income or attain financial freedom in your 50s or 60s if you don't start working on it now. Yeah. So if you don't choose to be under pressure, building or closing that wealth gap that we've talked about to achieve financial freedom, you have, believe you me, you're going to have more pressure when you're 60. And unfortunately, at that time, you have the pressure, but you have very limited options, because then you'll be getting old, you'll be getting tired. So you won't have the energy to be able to earn more and create what you need to what you need for you to achieve your financial freedom. So that was the second one, not having a financial plan. It is important that you draw or write down your financial plan and financial goals. The third financial mistake is spending without a budget. Related to what I'm just from talking about, it is a poverty trap. Spending with a budget. There are people who think, no, budgeting is just for the rich. Me, I'm a low income earner. This same money, I just low little money. Why should I be budgeting? So those who are low income earners, or those who are poor, for lack of a better term, they think budgeting is for the rich. Meanwhile, those who have a lot of money or who are considered rich, they also think, I have a lot of money. What's the point of budgeting? I can just be spending. After all, it's a lot. So the poor think budgeting is for the rich, and the rich think budgeting is for the poor. The truth is, budgeting is for everybody, regardless of how much you earn, because you having a budget is also part of a plan. It gives you control. It means that you're in control of your finances. So you need to control your money. Don't let money control you. And for you to have an effective budget, you should know where your money goes. So you need to start tracking your expenses, even just for the next 2 months. If you've never done that, every day, whatever it is that you buy, write down. Then at the end of the month, you come and review. You realize that you spend so much money even on things that are not really necessary, you know? So by doing that, it will help you identify some loopholes for you to make necessary adjustments and prevent spending money unnecessarily, yeah? Then you need to start saving your first fixed expense on your budget. I know a lot of people say the formula for saving is income, less expenses. When you finish paying all your expenses, whatever is left is what you save. But as long as you apply that formula, I always tell my mentees, you are never going to win financially, because the truth is always your expenses are higher than the income. So what is going to be left for saving? So for you to win, you always need to make sure that saving comes first. So spend what is left after saving. Whenever you have money, remove money for saving, and you're saving for investing, because you're not going to save your way to financial freedom. No, it's investing. The investing mindset is what is going to take you to financial freedom. Money needs to be multiplying. So you need to ensure that you save, be very faithful steward of your money. Have a relationship with your money. Have an intimate relationship with your money. You know what intimacy is? Why do you let your money, you work hard for it, money comes and then it just slips off your palms like that. You remain with a record, but I made so much money, where is it? It's gone. No. You know, that intimacy that you have, the relationship that you have with your husband, your wife, or your girlfriend, or whatever it is, or your children, you don't want anything bad to happen to them, and you don't want to let them go. You always want them close. And that's the relationship you need to start having with your money. You know, when money comes, retain part of it. And by retaining, I mean save and invest part of it, because it's that saving and investing that is going to take care of you. Yeah. So I'm not a coach that will tell you not to have fun with your money and just be saving. No, I'm a financial literacy coach that will tell you it's okay to have fun, but you need to know how much fun money you're spending. And that can only happen when you're making an effective budget for that fund. But that fund should only come after you've already saved for investment. I hope that is clear. Is that making sense before we go to the fourth mistake? Just give me some hearts. Can I see some hearts in the comment section? So the fourth mistake is depending on loans to sustain your lifestyle. Another poverty debt trap. Depending on loans to sustain your lifestyle. We are living in an advent of social media, and social media, there is a lot of pressure that people tend to portray. They create things that are not, the lifestyles that are not even there. And when people see, you start getting under pressure because you want to catch up. No, I've seen this one drives a what car, this one is driving a Benz. You don't even know whether that's a borrowed Benz or what. People are trying to show a certain type of lifestyle, and you want to run with that social media, type of thing. So you need to avoid that, because usually that leads people into debt unnecessarily. Using money that you have not earned is a debt and poverty trap. Don't borrow money for consumerism. And for us, even as financial literacy coaches, we always say when it comes to debt, there is good debt and bad debt. Not all loans are bad. But even when we are talking about good debt, we define good debt as money that is borrowed to be leveraged for investment. If you borrow for investment, we say it's okay. We say bad debt is the one that is borrowed for consumerism. But you need to understand that even the borrowing for investment must be defined. Yeah. Just a few weeks ago, I think the other week, I'm sure most of you came across that video, the live video on Simon Moore page, where we had this mother, innocent mother, that borrowed money from a certain microfinance institution. And according to her, at that time when she was borrowing, she went there to get a loan so that she could complete a classroom block where she had a school. She was building a school. So she wanted to complete it. It was at roof level. So she went to this financial institution to go and get a loan so that she could roof the classroom and start housing her pupils there. So when you look at that definition for good debt being money that you borrow for investment, according to her at that particular point, it wasn't a bad debt because she was actually getting that loan to invest. That was an investment. However, that loan that she obtained was fetching interest as high as 78%. 78%. So now you can imagine 78% you're paying on a loan, and then that's a long-term loan. So she borrowed 100,000. Yeah. From that 100,000, between 2021 and now, she was saying she has actually paid over 300,000 on the loan, and the loan is still not finished. Because at some point, due to COVID-19, she was unable to pay, so the loan had to be refinanced. So there were all those things that came up. So good debt, when we say it's for investment, there are other things that you need to consider. You need to look at where are you getting the money from? What are the conditions that are attached to that loan? Because a loan, money is available, please, or loans are accessible, does not mean you should take them. You really need to get very lowly priced loans to leverage for investment. And even as you are getting, you should do a cost-benefit analysis. Make sure that wherever you're taking that money or you're investing that money, what you are getting as a return on your investment outweighs the cost that you're paying or the interest that you're paying on that loan. So you really need to be very strategic. You need to be very money smart to use that leverage aspect, to leverage loans for investment. It's not for everybody. But with financial literacy, obviously, then that becomes something that you understand. So we need to ensure that we don't normalize debt, please. Don't normalize the use of debt. You go and borrow money, you are spending on people, trying to please people who don't even care about you. The moment you fall, they'll be the first one to laugh at you. When the rubber hits the road, you lose your job or anything, they won't be there to spoil you the way you're thinking of spoiling them now because you can access loans anywhere. No. So please, let's understand the difference between bad debt and good debt in that context, not to just say, no, because I'm investing, then it's a good debt. 78%, no. Is it making sense? So that's the fourth mistake. The fifth mistake is investing in things that you do not understand. People are falling prey because somebody just comes and say, no. If you put money so much, if you put $100, you're going to get $300 in 1 week. You jump on it. Building wealth is a process and it takes time. For you to build wealth, you need structure and systems around your money. You need to create a system around your money and a structure. What do you do every time you receive money? What's the first thing that you do? After that, what follows? Create a system. You need to be disciplined and you need to be very patient because it takes time. So if you're going to be falling prey to get rich quick schemes where somebody tells you put so much within a week, you're going to earn so much, you keep losing money unnecessarily. Yeah. So please make sure that you understand what you're investing in. That's why we always say invest in learning before you invest your money. Don't put money in something that you cannot explain in a minute. Somebody asks you, even regulated investments, you should understand them, understand the risks that are associated with them, understand the returns, understand how those returns accrue. When should you expect your money? There are all these things that you need to understand before you invest, so that you are not expectant or you don't end up getting disappointed if you don't get the results that you are thinking you get in a specific type of investment. Yeah. So you really need to make sure that you invest in learning, learn as much as possible, and ensure that whatever it is that you're investing in, your investment portfolio, your investment portfolio is aligned to your goals, is aligned to your financial plan. Remember, we talked about the financial plan. Yeah. So once you do that, then you will leverage compounding effect, because you know that because it takes time. If I start now, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years from now, my money will grow and it will be easy for you to achieve your financial freedom number. Then the sixth mistake is choosing an expensive lifestyle because you can afford it. Remember, I talked about focusing on debt, or living a lifestyle that is dependent on debt, on loans. So on that one, it means you are actually living using money that you do not have. You are borrowing to sustain your lifestyle. This one is different. This one is choosing an expensive lifestyle simply because you can afford it. This one is also a poverty trap. Yeah, because maybe you are privileged, you have a high earning job, like you're earning high. Then why should you be renting a house, for example, in Salama Park? I'm just giving an example. In a high cost area or neighborhood where you're paying rent of 10,000 for a 3-bedroom house, when you can get a similar 3-bedroom house in a medium cost place, like for example, Kamala South, Shalala, that Woodlands, and you can pay maybe 5,000 or 6,000. There's a difference there of 4,000. Why? So you are living in that place, renting that expensive house simply because you have a high-paying job. So now you need to understand that job security does not exist. You can lose that job anytime. So if you can lose that job anytime, will you be able to sustain that type of lifestyle, to be paying rent 10,000? Why, as you are earning high, why not reduce your expenses? Yes, be in a secure place. You can find a secure house, be in a secure place, reduce your expenses, and channel most of your money to your investment portfolio so that it closes the gap, that financial freedom gap that we're talking about. Yeah. So it's very, very important that you don't end up with an expensive lifestyle simply because you can afford it. The question you should be asking yourself is, what is the source of the money? Is it coming from assets that I own? If it's coming from active income where you are working for that money, then it's not money you should be spending. You should look at it as capital to invest in assets that will produce income. When that income that is coming from your assets increase, that's when now you can afford to start having such lavish lifestyles. But if you're using earned income for lavish living, earned income, anything can happen. If you fall sick, you become incapacitated, you lose that income. Even if it's a business that you're running, you won't be able to run that business. So it's important that your main focus should be building an asset portfolio that generates passive income to sustain the lifestyle that you desire. And that takes time. So you might want to delay your gratification. You want to live well, you want to go on holidays. But what money are you using? What's the source of the money that you are using to do that? So that's the question that you should always ask yourself. Then the last one, which is the seventh mistake that I'm going to share today, is postponing preparing for retirement. Yeah? When is the best time to start planning for retirement? When is the best time to start planning for retirement? I know people attach retirement. When you hear retirement, people attach it with a 65 years old. Retirement is not 65. Retirement is not equal to that age. 65 years is just a prescribed retirement age by the government. Here in Zambia, I don't know, for different countries it should be different, yeah? But in Zambia, it's 65. But it does not mean you have to really wake up to 65 for you to retire. Tell me, do you really want to continue working this 8 a.m. or 05 a.m. that we wake up early in the morning to go to work? Is that the lifestyle that you want up until the time you'll be 65? So you can plan for your own retirement. You can choose to retire early so that you focus on things that you're really passionate about. You focus on moving purposefully, living purposefully, like doing things that you love to do, doing things that you enjoy. Because for most of us, we go to work, simply we are going, some of us are even working in environments that we don't even like. But we have to, because our livelihoods depend on that salary. Our livelihoods depend on that job. So whether you like it or not, you have to wake up to go and work. Yeah? And you should put in your all and work and deliver because they are paying you. So if you want time freedom, you want to get to a point where you have time, you know, to do your own things that you love, then you need to start planning for your retirement. It's good to be in employment, but use employment as a tool, you know, as a stepping stone to create an investment portfolio that will allow you to withdraw from employment at a certain point and focus on things that you love. So the best time to start planning for retirement is the first time you start working, if you are an employee. So if you're an employee, the first time you start working, just the first month, when does NAPSA start deducting NAPSA pension? The first time you start work, NAPSA starts deducting. They're planning for your pension. So if NAPSA is planning for a pension and they're only getting 5% from your money, what are you doing with the 95%? You are leaving the retirement planning in the hands of government. Why can't you plan for your own retirement as well? Because truth be told, NAPSA is never enough and it will never be enough. Take keen interest. You can ask around for people who've retired. Ask them how much they are getting, the monthly allowance they get from NAPSA. It's not enough to sustain you. And then people are even saying NAPSA is a scam. The money is little. The money is little, but come to think of it, they only get 5% from you. Yes, your employer adds 5%. But what have you been doing all these years that you've been working with the 95% that you get? You expect NAPSA to pay you the same amount of money that you were getting paid when you were working, when they were only getting 5% from you. It's not possible. So start planning for your own retirement. Understand your passive income number, your financial freedom number, and leverage the time. The best time to start investing and planning for retirement is when you started work. If you haven't done that, the second best time is now. Yeah, you have to start now. Whatever age you are at, you should define when do you want to retire. If you are, for example, in your 30s and you want to retire at 50, then you know that, okay, I have about 20 years. So what's my passive income number? How much do I need to raise in income generating assets by the time I'm 50? And that should guide you on how much, roughly on a monthly basis, you're supposed to be saving. So to do that, for you to achieve that, there are only two things that you need to do, if not both. It's either you reduce your expenses, depending on how much money you have as your income on a monthly basis, review your expenses and see what you can cut so that you channel money to your investment portfolio. Or think of other ways of making money. You are skilled you've been working for years, all those skills, the experience that you have, the credentials that you have, there's something that, the same way you sell yourself to an employer. People say, me, I'm not a business-minded, I can't, I just want to be in employment. Do you know that even employment is a business transaction? Because you're selling your skill, yourself, your skills. You're selling your skills to your employer for that salary. So if you're able to sell your skills to your employer, why can't you sell the same skills to the outside world and earn some more money? So you need to really just change your mindset. You need to start having an investment mindset, a growth mindset, a wealth mindset. And for you to do that, you should ensure that you avoid all these 7 things that I've listed today. There's so many other things, but I thought I should share just the 7 things today. So if you take my advice or the things that I've shared today very seriously, 10 to 15 years from now, believe you me, you will look more organized than most of your peers. And it's not because you are earning a lot of money. It's just because you are money smart. So choose to be money smart from today onwards. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to the leadership of this program, Master Coach Dr. Nellie, Dr. Sylvia Sunshine, Rev Water. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I would like to end here. Have a blessed day.